and welcome back to what seems to be seasonal programming here. This look has a special place in my heart because the inspiration is the original Lost Boys film, which happens to be my favorite scary movie to date, and I use the word scary extremely lightly in this case, because it's an older film. The direct links to everything I'm using in this video will be below in the description box, but I got my prosthetic from FX Warehouse, and we're just using Vaseline to cover the eyebrows and keep those from sticking to the adhesive, and in this case we are using Prosthetic. But before we go in with the adhesive, we're going to map out where we're placing our adhesive with some translucent powder, and just placing the prosthetic directly on where it would go, and going around it with the disposable sponge. Fun fact, the makeup artist for the film The Lost Boys is actually Neal. She's an Academy and Emmy Award-winning makeup artist who did Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, Hunger Games, Batman, and all kinds of different movies that everyone knows. And she is also one of the main judges in the show Face Off. The main tool we're using to adhere the prosthetic is a cotton swab. We're starting from the inside and working our way out. So at first, I'm starting with the bridge of the nose, attaching the prosthetic, and also applying a light layer onto the prosthetic as well for a little extra support. Once that's dried and attached, I'm going to be working on the sides of the face using the cotton swab again. We're going to apply a light layer to the face, a light layer to the actual prosthetic, and then pressing down and making sure that it's adhered to the face properly. And at this point, you don't have to worry about the edges or anything like that, because that's going to be one of the last steps that we do before paint. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend that you do, but if you have seen the movie, you definitely know that one of the main characters' name is Michael, and it's uttered more than 100 times
Michael.
during the film, which means if broken down correctly, that's one Michael per minute, which is pretty bizarre, but that's just something that I found out about recently that I just had to share because I think that's really crazy. As you can see here, I'm going into the little crevices of where the nose bridge is, and I'm using a technique that I just figured out that would work really good, which is just kind of rolling the cotton swab against my face, but outward. So that way it's kind of pressing the excess away from the face and trying to blend the edges as well as I can. And here I'm just speeding things up a little bit because the process of blending out the edges is quite tedious and it might take some time, so just be patient, take your time, and don't rush it. Please be very careful when working around the eyes. If you happen to get a little bit of adhesive on your eyelids or anything like that, it's not a big deal. And as you can see here, I did that to myself, and all I'm gonna do for now is just take a little bit of powder, that way it's set and not sticky, sticking my eye shut permanently or closed or whatever, and then I'll just take it off like I normally would with the rest of the makeup later on. As you can see on the left, it's displaying what it looks like after blending out the edges, and then before on the right. Quite the difference. After you have all the edges put together, you're going to want to take your caster sealer and apply a light layer to the prosthetic only to make sure that the color difference won't be too noticeable from your skin and from the prosthetic. And then I'm just going ahead and applying a light layer of translucent powder over that to set it. You can use whatever tools you're most comfortable with using for the paint, but I always like to use disposable sponges, that way I don't have to worry about the mess it makes. First, I'm going to be going in with this Graftobian palette, and then I'm going in with the PAX paint and a little bit of foundation just to try to make the best color concoction possible to match to my face. Right now I'm at a weird stage of a fake tan coming off and being pale for this video, so you get what you get with this one. I'm blending all of this together with a dense foundation brush and then going back in and over it with a beauty sponge, anyone will work, and trying to get into those little crevices of like the eye and applying lighter areas to the face, just where light would naturally hit anyone's face, and then blending everything out. To make this skin a lot less stark and adding a little more details to making the face look dead and translucent, I'm using 99% alcohol and a couple of my alcohol activated paint palettes. I'm using blue tones, red tones like aged blood and things like that to make our skin look a lot more translucent, like a vampire would. And I guess my camera didn't record this part, but basically to finish off the look, I'm just using some Camo Eyes colored contacts and some custom fangs for my teeth to finish out the look. Again, everything I used will be linked in the description box below. Thank you for watching the video, like it if you enjoyed it, and go see the movie The Lost Boys if you haven't already.